And record. So we're recording. All right.
Okay.
And look at that. All right. I see us live on Facebook. Cool. All right. So welcome. This is the second interview in a series with the authors of Activate Your Life, which officially launched yesterday. And it already has hit #1 in at least 7 that I was able to track this morning. 7 different Amazon categories. So we got a #1 bestseller here. Aoife, your chapter is on page 166. I was really fortunate. Amazon shipped me these books faster than I expected. So I've got the physical book here, which I'm really excited about. Got your exercise open, page 166, Money Memories, Healing Your Invisible Beliefs. And I'd love for you to just take us to how you came to be an accredited thought leader in as a money coach, because I know you recently this year were awarded from the Irish Business All-Stars as accredited thought leader.
Yes. Yes, goodness and goodness. I mean, who knew that people were listening to my thoughts and thought that they might actually lead? Um, I came to money coaching through my own experience. Uh, I was left in debt that I take responsibility for. So I was left in debt twice. Similar circumstances, different amounts, different people, and my boost through money coaching comes from that journey of how I got myself into the debt, why I repeated a pattern of poor behavior, and how I got myself out of it. And then by changing my thoughts and beliefs, was able to recognize quite damaging patterns of behavior that I no longer repeat and perpetuate. Doesn't mean I don't make other mistakes. I just identified patterns of behavior that was, in a sense, I suppose I was giving my power away, and I had a tendency to give my power away when it came to money.
And were you also in the banking sector or financial sector? Is it?
I was, yeah, for quite some years. Yeah, I did. I worked in the financial sector in Ireland. I'm still a member of the Institute of Banking in Ireland, and I am a qualified financial advisor. I just don't really give financial advice anymore. I offer education, and it's education and advice are slightly different.
Gotcha. So you've been in the world of money. I mean, obviously we're all using money, but like that's been so you were on one side of it in the sort of institutional, and now you're doing this money coaching. And first, I mean, it's pretty phenomenal to say like you replaced your beliefs. I think a lot of people there's multiple layers there, right? There's like understanding that you have beliefs, and then there's actively replacing them. It sounds pretty challenging, and I think that's what your exercise is pretty much about. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about how that process went for you?
Well, it's a process that I still repeat. It's like showering. You need to do it regularly. So I go through my money memories, and it is not always about money. Sometimes it could be about something else. But I'll go through what I feel maybe is I think I'm hitting my head against a brick wall about something, and then I'll maybe spend 10 minutes or so asking myself some questions that are in the book. And to find out the questions I ask, you have to actually download the book and read the questions. And so I'll ask myself some questions, and I'll try and answer as honestly as I can, because the exercise is between you and you. So it doesn't really matter how you answer, as long as you answer honestly with yourself, because unless you're working with a coach, it's very easy to do it with yourself. And then I'll see if I can identify any patterns. So is there a story there that I may be telling myself that has come from an event in my past? And is it a story? How do I know this to be true? Do I have facts to support what I'm telling myself? And I'll challenge myself and challenge my beliefs. But first of all, I need to know what I'm believing, then I need to figure out, is it a fact? Can I support it with evidence? Or have I just made this up in my head? And then I'll challenge it. And then once I realize, okay, do I want to hang on to this or do I not? Then I have a little exercise that is very helpful to delete that belief. But when you delete something, something else will go whizzing in its place. Is like clutter. You give away one jumper and 10 of them sneak in. So it's important to have, it's very important to have the new beliefs ready, kind of lying ready to go in. Otherwise, something that you don't want could,
Interesting.
not
Okay.
necessarily, but could sneak in.
That's a very good visual for someone like me. In nature abhors a vacuum, and something will rush in. One of my, I really love this chapter. It's one of my favorites in the book because there's all these little expressions, these little funny little things that make it enjoyable to read the chapter itself. Um, I'm wondering if you can give an example of like a realizing a belief about money, and then sort of what is like, how do you actually like get rid of a belief?
But in order to get rid of a belief, you have to first realize that you have it in
Okay.
the first place, because you can't get rid of something that you don't know you have. So when I was growing up, my belief was that I had to work hard for money because that was the story that I grew up with. So very traditional household, stay-at-home mother, father went out to work. That was just the way things were at the time,
I think
and
a lot of people can probably relate to that.
quite similar. Mom and dad married in 1950, so that was just the way things were. It doesn't make it right or wrong. That's just the way it was. And so dad would come in exhausted. He was a workaholic, and that was his. He enjoyed it, but he would be quite tired, and he'd come in. And anytime my mum would go to do something, she would often prefix the sentence with, "Thanks to your father's hard work, we can whatever." So this was something that was repeated over and over and over again. Thanks to your father's hard work, we can do this. We can go to this place. We can have go on holidays, or we can have this food. And it was always thanks to your father's hard work.
Mm.
And so this was sort of drummed into us. When I say us, because I've quite a big family, from when we were quite young. And this was a story then that I sort of perpetuated, that I needed to get a job and go into that job at a young age and not leave until I fell out at retirement age, dying a bit more each day. And it didn't matter whether I liked the job or not, it had to be hard, because that was the only way of earning. Now it took me ages to realize that what was going on, because I stayed in jobs I hated and put up with rubbish because I thought, okay, I have to work and I have to work hard, and I'm not allowed to like that work. And so I did stay in jobs that I didn't like and weren't serving me. And then sometimes fate can be a rather peculiar thing. So I was made redundant, and redundancy can be a blessing or a curse. And for me, it was a massive blessing, because I suddenly realized, now, right then, what will I do next? And it really forced me to look at other ways of earning money. And then I started to realize that actually there are other ways of earning money. I can do what I love. It was Picasso, I think, said, have a job that you love and you'll never work a day again in your life, which is somewhat idealistic. But now I do, what I love, really enjoy it, working with people that I love, people who inspire me. I get huge amounts out of what I do. And, the upside is that I get paid to do it.
I want to, it sounds like your mom was like, in a way, trying to praise your dad, like, thank you for this hard work, so we can do
Absolutely. Yeah.
these things. And so there was like this great intention behind it, and it was like drumming in this, like, we only do this because of hard work thing. And then all of a sudden, so if that's your, yeah, if that's what you hear over and over again, then you would never know that it's any other way.
Well, she was, and, she was huge. Like mum and dad were great. They really were. And I'm always very conscious about, sometimes I might sound a bit negative. That's not meant to be the case at all. They really were amazing. And she, they were very happy together, and they're very lucky that, parents who stuck together and were really, really good together. And she was greatly appreciative of his support. Now, she did have a bit of a chip on her shoulder because she had to give up her job, a job that she loved and gave her
Mm.
independence financially and mentally. But the law was the law at the time, and married women were not allowed to work in certain roles. And so she had to give up
Hmm.
her job. So she lost her independence overnight. But that was nobody's fault. That was just the way things, that was just the way things were. And so, yes, she probably was instilling in us a sense of gratitude. But, sometimes you can say something to somebody and they hear something completely different. So you're both fluent, but in different languages.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'm thinking is probably the hardest part of this process is say you realize that, okay, wow, like this is what I heard growing up, or this is what I took on from my school days, or whenever, and then you sort of realize it, and you've got your new ones ready to come in, your new beliefs. You're like, okay, here's a new belief that's one that I actually want, and here's the one that I want to throw out. So you take it and you've got the space and you put the new ones in. What about the old? Can the old one slide back in? Like, it seems like because we're dealing with the brain, is it as simple as just like, okay, swap the beliefs and good to go, or where do people get stuck in this process?
I wish it is simple. It's not necessarily easy. So it's something that it's really important to repeat it. So I heard that message over and over and over again for 20 something years.
Yes.
So I needed to undo that. Um, I needed to, first of all, I had to identify that it was there because it took me a while to figure out why am I staying in jobs that I hate. Took me quite a while to figure out, so that's it. Once you kind of get that, it's huge because I think you're 50% of the way there when you first of all identify that it is a pattern, it's a story, it's not necessarily a fact, and then you have
And
your
did you
new
get
belief.
that by journaling, or thinking about it, or how did you discover that?
Lots of different things. So between journaling and then looking back over my own patterns, and when I laid everything out almost in a timeline, so I spent about half an hour sort of looking at a timeline.
Okay.
And then I thought, almost like a mathematical, like a subset. So I was able to draw conclusions. It's all quite scientific. So so I can see this as, this pattern has come up this many times. And then I have a new belief, and I say have because it's a belief I need to remind myself of. So I remind myself I do what I love with the people that I love, when I choose to, and I like to be of service. And so when I make a difference in somebody's life, that just makes me feel amazing. When people come back to me and they say that, that the changes that I've made in their life have impacted their relationship with their partner, maybe their relationship with their work colleagues, or their relationship with their children, or even their relationship with themselves, or even the relationship they have with their bank manager, that they're not in fear of that phone call, that letter, that envelope, doing the thing, having the thing that they want to do, when that fear has been, in a sense, been alleviated. It's not necessarily always removed, but it's been alleviated, and I can remove some of the stress and anxiety that people have around money. And it's not always about the amount, it's how we feel about those amounts.
Hmm.
So there is no kind of one size fits all. And that's what's really important to stress, that yes, this is quite a generic exercise and anybody can do it. And I say do it little and often, but coaching is quite prescriptive. So it is important that when you work one to one with somebody, that you do that delve deeper in a very safe space, a very safe and supportive space.
And so do you help clients come up with the new beliefs, and teach them sort of how to practice these new beliefs?
Yes, I do. But first of all, we have to figure out what's holding them back. And then the new belief is often the opposite. So, and a lot of people say, well, what do you want? And they come out with a list of all the things that they don't want.
Right.
And I say, well, if you were writing, so it's appropriate this time of year. So if you were going to write a letter to Santa Claus, you wouldn't say, dear Santa Claus, I don't want a Dyson hairdryer. I don't want a,
Lump of gold.
I don't want exactly. I don't want a hair curler. I don't want a lovely new Swarovski sparkly pen. These are just like hints in case anybody was listening. These are all, these are things that if you want to buy me a Christmas gift, I don't want a gift card for Amazon. So you wouldn't write, dear Santa Claus, these are all the things that I absolutely would hate to get. But when I ask people, what do you want? They go, well, I don't want this and I don't want that. So, and often it can be quite useful. It was in my exercise in the first book about kind of, okay, what do you not want? Then you must want the opposite. So if we get somebody's limiting beliefs, we get them down on the page and we kind of challenge them and say, well, okay, if this is what you don't want, then what's the opposite of that? It's not necessarily one extreme or the other, because sometimes the opposite is too far away. So, okay, well, let's just kind of figure out what you don't want. And then can we identify then what you do want? And then through a process, a little bit of backwards and forwardsing and lots of post-its and cups of tea, we figure out a new belief that fits them. That it's like buying a new pair of jeans. You have to, oh no, they're too short, too tight, too long, too big, too small. There's a little bit of try that one on for size and see how does that belief sound, fit, kind of, does it feel right? Does it sit right with you? We do keep going until we find a script that works and suits.
So an example might be if you heard you have to work hard for money growing up, then if you would say the opposite of that would be like money comes really easily, or you can have fun and the work doesn't have to be hard, and you can make a lot of money, like something like that.
It could be something, or it could be I can do what I love to do and be paid, or it could be I'm allowed to like the work that I do, or I can earn money from multiple different sources. So it's a little bit of how does that sound? Does that sentence sound okay? Does that sound like you might be able to leave that sentence? Because there's no point in coming up with a statement that your brain is going to just scream liar, liar, pants on fire.
Right. So now you've got this statement, and so people probably have heard of affirmations where you like read something to yourself, or you put it on your mirror where you see it every day and you read it, or it's like something. Is that the process that you're talking about? Like reading something to like a statement?
Yes, it can be a statement. It could be a question. How can I do this and still enjoy the process? Or it's about, there is no one size fits all. And then you say, anchor the living daylights out of it. So, stick it on the visor of your car, record yourself in your own voice, because your own voice is more powerful than somebody else's. Record yourself in your own
I like
voice.
That. Yeah.
On your phone or whatever. Write it down in your own hand. And so it is quite important that it's in your own words, or if you're working with somebody, that it's in their words. So it's not me saying, here you go, take 2 aspirin and ring me in the morning, that the person themselves kind of takes charge and takes ownership, and they go, right, these are my words. So this is coming from me. This is what I want and desire, and this is what I am anchoring in. And there's lots and lots of different ways of anchoring that in. You can have post-its, you can have you could come up with a symbol. Maybe if you're into sort of geometry or doodling, you could come up with a symbol that anytime you draw this symbol or you see this symbol, it reminds you of something. So like you're in the shower, you could do that symbol on the shower door. Tons of ways of anchoring it in.
And so what if you have this new belief that you want to anchor in, but you're not sure if you like fully believe it yet? Or, like work can be really fun if you've done work that's not fun your whole life and you haven't really experienced work that's fun. I imagine your subconscious might be a little skeptical, perhaps. How do you deal with that?
When your mind is going liar, liar, pants on fire.
Right.
So sometimes you have to meet yourself halfway. So, could you do something as a volunteer that you really, really enjoy, and you're not necessarily paid in in physical cash or money, but you're paid um, in maybe somebody pay you get lunch or something, or you get training out of it, or you something. So you
Mm.
think, okay, so I can do what I really like to do and be paid. I do lots of volunteering and I'm paid in, will turn up for food. So when I volunteer for something, I say I'm not going if there's no food, I'm not turning up. I'm always paid in that I'll get training in a specific area that I want, or they know there'll be decent coffee, or there'll always be something, because it's important that there is an exchange. So if you're having that kind of argument with yourself, there's always a way that you can sort of meet your subconscious halfway, and you can kind of trick it into believing that this is actually possible. Or you find evidence. Okay, well, there's somebody out there doing the job,
Mm.
doing the work that I really want to do, and they're loving it and getting paid to do it. So if they can do it, then so can I,
Yeah, that's super helpful. Um,
because success leaves clues. And sometimes you do have to play. Our mind plays tricks on us, so there is no reason why we can't trick it. And I mean trick in a positive sense, that we can kind of convince it that these things are possible.
Right. Yeah. No, I like that, and also like the looking for other people, because if somebody else is, lots, one or many other people are doing it, then why can't it be us? Yeah. So you mentioned you were in volume one. I
I
don't know
was
if you guys
indeed.
can see right back here. I've got volume one
Oh
and
yes.
two next to each other on the bookshelf. So we've got actually both of these are available right now for free this week on Amazon. You can get the set if you don't already have volume one. You can get volume one and volume two at the same time. Really, yeah, I really love this chapter, and thank you for helping me understand the process. I think you probably helped people watching, because that's really important, um, to not have those old beliefs just come rushing right back in. Is there any last thing that you would like people to know about this work, your work, or this chapter, um,
Oh gosh, now that'll
before
be
we
a
wrap?
whole other interview. Well, I'm contactable at prudencemoneypenny.com. You can always catch me on Facebook, or through the website. And the reason, I think we do have to stress this, the reason that the cover of volume two is green
Yes,
is because, drum roll please, yes, indeed, look at that lovely green cover,
all
is
green.
because there were seven out of the 30 coaches, there were seven of us were Irish. So there was a bit of a takeover going on there. And there'll be a couple of different launches. We don't have dates and times yet. So there will be an opportunity if you are in Ireland, or you're passing by, or you're whizzing past, there will be opportunities to meet multiple coaches in the one place at the one time, and you could get your
Wow.
physical copy of the book signed, because we all love signing books. So how about that? Seven out of the 30
That's
coaches were
that's really
Irish.
it's so I love looking at this green cover and thinking about all you Irish authors and the Emerald Isle, and it's got this Irish flavor to it. So this, each the first book had its own vibe, and this one does too. And so I'm really really excited. And Aoife, was, we call her the author relations. What is the title that we gave you in the book? Author relationship. So you actually connected with many of the authors this time who are involved in the project. So Aoife was
I did.
also on the team, on the publishing team, which was really wonderful to
Yeah. And so I'm
to
working my way around,
have. Yeah.
hoping to meet all the authors. I've met a few of the authors in Volume One, and hoping to meet. I've met um, seven of the authors
Well,
in
you have, yes,
Volume
you,
Two.
because
Yeah.
you're Irish author. So I think you and I have a friendly little competition, because I went out to Colorado and I met Daniel Brisbane, and then Cassandra Galbier and Leo. They just moved to my city, so they're here. And then obviously Tim Dean and Erica and Christine from Volume One. They're here. So I happen to have some local people. So
I think you're in the lead at the moment.
we
Yeah.
got
So
a
it is
we
my
got a
aim.
little competition
Yeah.
going. So that'll be fun to keep track of. And yeah, so I mean that's the other thing, for people that are curious about how these projects go, these these are all people that we know or friends of ours, and so we're coaches, and we wanted to bring other coaches' work out to the world, because some of these exercises are, hence the name, activate your life. They really do transform how you think, transform your life. And I got my start through a single exercise, and it's so I'm just really excited that so many of these exercises are out there. I'm starting to encounter stories and meeting people who have read the books, who are telling me, wow, I read your book and it changed my life, and here's how my life is now. And it's just really fun to actually see people taking action in their lives. So thank you for your contribution. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me in this interview, this chat. And
Yep.
everybody can go get the book. If you do happen to get the book, we'd love for you to leave a review, honest review. Have a read
Absolutely.
through,
Yeah.
and that's
And
super
yeah,
helpful.
it's available depending on what country you're in. It's available on Amazon.co.uk and Amazon.com. And if you find yourself on the wrong link, it should automatically navigate you to the right link and whatever currency that you happen to be in. And if you're in Ireland or you're passing or you're whizzing by, do keep an eye on my postings, and I will be announcing details of book launches and book signings. And there will be some in December, and we'll probably push them out to January as well, because it's a kind of strange time of year.
Wonderful. All right, Eva, thank you so much, and
And we'll chat soon.
congrats
Thank
again
you very
on
much.
bestseller. All right.
Excellent. Yes, I know this is my fourth
Wow.
bestseller. Hooray!
Amazing. All
Excellent.
right.
Talk to you soon, Derek. Bye.
Bye bye.